Hey y'all, it's Corey Kent, and you're listening to Like a Farmer.
Hey y'all, it's Pat. Welcome to another episode of Like a Farmer. Today, the Oklahomian himself, Corey Kent, joins the show. We're going to be talking about everything. Talk a little Oklahoma, a little country, Texas country music, a little fighting talk. Who would win between a Parker McCollum and Koe Wetzel match? Talk a little bit about the voice. Talk about paving. Everything in between. As always, every single Wednesday, catch us on YouTube or wherever you listen to your audio podcast. Let's get into it. Corey, thanks for coming on the show today, man.
Thank you for having me.
Dude, I'm pumped for you to finally be on the show, man.
Me too.
I feel like we manifested it in that we weren't, what was it, maybe 30 days ago we were sharing a duck blind together?
Yep. Dude.
Is that something like when you think about being in a duck blind, duck hunting, and maybe it's hunting in general, I remember us talking about it in the blind, is that kind of like your getaway?
Yeah, I think it used to be motorcycles. And still is to a certain extent, but like that's the quick like 20-30 minute getaway, you know what I mean? I can't just like disappear for days on end on a motorcycle, but you can do that with hunting, you know? So this is when I went duck hunting with you, it's probably the first time in a few years that I've had enough time off in the fall to actually get a decent hunt in. So it was super refreshing. It was awesome. But, yeah, I just remember every time you and I stood up, the ducks were falling. When we didn't stand up,
they were just flying everywhere.
Falling.
Shout out Stewart Ranch,
yeah.
by the way.
Oh, dude, what a beautiful place, man. Special place. I'm from Oklahoma and have heard about that place, my whole life. But getting to go out there and hunt that was special. Yeah.
And just the story behind that. I think it's 7 generations. I think they're one of the, and might be we need to fact check it, is the largest landowner in Oklahoma.
I wouldn't
that family.
Doubt it. I think I said like 55,000 acres, something like that. My family's got, 4,000 down in Broken Bow. And that was always the most I'd ever heard of. Because, people in Broken Bow's not a super wealthy place. It's like low-income area. So to somehow even amass some acreage down there was kind of like unheard of. But 45,000 acres, 55, whatever it is, that's unfathomable. It also cracks me up, when I hear that, when people get lost on a few acres or whatever, and I'm like, man, well, you grow up, you memorize the land, right? And so I could navigate our family's ranch pretty easily, but then 45,000 acres, there's no way.
Dude, no way.
There's you would literally have to have everything mapped out.
That's one of those you got to wait for the sun to go down or up.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when that sun's up there, you just is it going this way? Is it going that way?
I'd be lost for sure.
You're born in Oklahoma, but would you say you were raised in Oklahoma?
Yeah. Yeah, I was born and raised in Oklahoma in Bixby, and they called it Hixby when I was growing up, and now it's like football mecca. I don't know if you know anything about that team, but they're like, I don't know, 9 straight state titles or something, like one of the longest winning streaks in the history of high school football. We sucked when I was there. We were terrible. And now
Did you play high school football?
I played my freshman year, and then I started wrestling. And yeah, I was pretty undersized. I was a year young for my grade. And then I was tired of getting hit by grown ass men. You know what I mean? There was a guy on our team that was, ended up going to play D1 ball. He was 230 pounds, just built like a man. And I'm 115 pounds and 5'2", running slot routes, getting just targeted. You know what I mean?
With you.
And so I was like, man, I'm going to fight somebody my own size. Wrestling went a lot better for me. Yeah, I was a lot better at fighting somebody my size.
Do you live in Oklahoma still, or is it?
I live in Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah. So married a Texan. That's how usually Oklahomans end up in Texas. Yeah, you marry a Texan.
Married into.
So, yeah, we live in Salina, Texas, which is a cool little town. It's blowing up everywhere it seems, but we're an hour and 20 minutes north of Dallas. You just go straight north. It's like halfway between Oklahoma and Dallas. So,
well, we talked a lot about that in the blind, and it's like you get these Nashville's a perfect example.
Yeah.
Texas, Florida, where I'm at. It's like you've got these bigger cities, but some of these people, like you and I, are like, hey, let me go get a breath of fresh air a little bit outside of the city.
Yeah.
And it seems like that lifestyle is getting more I mean, now it's like hobby farmers, right? And hobby ranches of like, oh, I got 5 acres and, 2 cows. I live in the country, which that's the lifestyle that we're living in Texas especially.
For sure. Yeah, I think a lot of people that were raised around it, I mean, my dad's a great example. Like, he was raised on a farm and wanted to get the heck away from it, right? And so he took a completely different path, but he ended up back on a farm in Kellyville, at some point in his life. And I feel like that's kind of the natural progression of it. You want to get away from it, and then you realize how nice it actually is once you get a little older. So, yeah, we live on a little bit of land out in Salina, and got some horses and like things that slow you down, things that make you just like stop running the race for a bit, just going out and taking care of whatever. But we've got our ranch out in Leonard, Texas, that we go to a lot, and that's been just kind of a breath of fresh air just to like get away.
Well, it helps being around that stuff. In my opinion, I think it helps a creative mind when it comes to the music side.
For sure. I write almost all of my stuff out there now. Like instead of coming to Nashville to write, which is what I've done for a while, and I used to live here, but moved to Texas, and then this La Rosa Ranch has been the place where I've been flying, my buddies in from Tennessee to go write out there, and it makes for some magical songs because I think people are able to see the way that you live, right? Like all of my buddies, we're all writing songs about our life. It helps when they can see into your everyday life,
Totally agree.
And so like my wife and the kids will come out and we'll make lunch and have a big, or a big family dinner or something. And like those, my co-writers being able to see into my everyday equals better songs. There's less guesswork or less of us explaining, and it's just like more like observed, so, but I love it out there. And we duck hunted out there. It was my first time duck hunting that property, and we did pretty good. Surprisingly, like, we don't have much of a setup out there, but there were some ducks, and we shot them.
It seems like wherever you are, the ducks are there,
dude. Well, not the second day. First day out there, yes. Second day, no. But we took my son, and dude, he loved it. He's 4. He just turned 4. So we were letting him call, and it was hilarious. But to get him, I was like telling him he needs to go to bed, right? Like, hey, we're gonna get up early, like really earlier than you ever get up. No, I want to watch this movie. So he stayed up. I was like, you're not gonna get up in the morning. And so it's like 4:30 in the morning. I go shake him, like, hey buddy, you gonna go duck hunting? And he's like, yeah. He's still eyes closed. He's like, I want to go duck hunting. So I get him up. I basically get him dressed, and he's still eyes closed while I'm getting him dressed. And we ride the 4-wheeler out to the pond, and man, it was awesome. Like he took his BB gun out there. Every time ducks, fly in, I'm like, all right, get ready, here we go. And he'd just unload his BB gun. And I told him, the best thing that you could do every time that you shoot is go, I got that one. Like that's what you want to hear from everybody in the duck pond. So,
especially if it has a band on it. That's mine.
He'd pop and he'd go, I got that one. We were like, yeah, you did, buddy. It was awesome.
I think the cool thing about you and what drew me to just wanting to get to know you more is like music, and you're kicking ass in music, and I'm excited to talk about that. But you're a father first, you're a husband first, you're a friend first. Like, is that just kind of the values that you were, grew up on?
Man, I didn't have a big family. Like, my parents split when I was super young, and I always wanted that. Like, anytime I was around some of my, like, one of my best friends, Jimmy, who works with us on the road, like, he was one of 4 kids, and they had a big family, and it was just so much life in their house. And I always loved, like, I was drawn to that, just the chaos, and, there's always something going on, and I didn't really have that. And so I think that's a small part of it, is like kind of wanting to, create the family that I didn't have when I was a kid. And then I don't know. The other part was just like, you know, I never thought that I would meet like my person early in life. It just happened. And then the choice was pretty easy because it was like either I'm going to marry this girl or I'm going to spend the rest of my life thinking about how I should have married that girl. You know what I mean? And so it's like, well, I don't want to live my whole life regretting that. So we didn't date for very long. We got married pretty young. We started having kids pretty young. But it was more of just like, man, you know, God's in control. He's not going to give us more than we can handle. And at the same time, like, you know, I just didn't want to have any personal life regrets. I could live with career regrets, right? Like, but I couldn't live with not living the life that I wanted to live, right? And so, you know, I put family life first, knowing that I wanted a family, knowing that like someday nobody's going to care how many platinum records I have on my wall. Like, there's a lot of super successful artists that we don't talk about anymore, that we don't listen to anymore. But, you know, I mean, like, at someday it's going to be like, how full is my table? And do the people sitting there, do I like being around them? Do they like being around me? You know, do my kids want to hang out with me someday? And it's just like projecting outside of just this little window of time where I'm making a run in country music. It's like, what do I want my life to look like 50 years from now? And a huge part of it was family. So I think that's kind of where it came from. And I have some guys in my life that I really look up to, that as I was talking about, you know, starting a family or maybe how many kids do we have, because we just had our fourth. Like, it's crazy, right? Four.
And the ages from, because the oldest is what, 8?
Oh, about to be 8. Yeah, 8 this month. Yeah, you do. Yeah. Come on. About to be 8. And then we got a little girl that's 5. My little boy just turned 4, and then 2 months. So yeah, we're restarting. But the guys that I would talk to, you know, not even almost, every single one of the guys, there's 4 of them. I was like, if you could go back, would you do anything differently? Because, you know, they're 15, 20 years ahead in life. And every single one of those guys that I really look up to is like, if I would have had more kids. And I was like, really? Regardless of how many they had. I mean, they were like, I would have had at least one more. And so I just remember, like, thinking about that. And so we thought we were done at 3. And then my wife was just like, maybe, I don't know if we're done. I was like, I don't know if we can do 4. 3 is a lot, man. Yeah. And but those guys that I spoke to have been like just trusted sources, you know, just guys that you're like, you look at their life and you're like, it worked out pretty well for you, you know, and you guys have something figured out. And so just kind of replaying those words in my head of like, man, I just don't want to have personal life regrets. I think that's how I live my life. I will sacrifice other things, but I'm not going to sacrifice my personal life, because at the end of the day, like, that's who you really are. It's not the guy with the records on the wall or the guy on the stage. Like, it's when the lights go off and you're in your house and nobody but your family's, like, that's who you really are. So I just didn't want to have any regrets in that lane. And you know, I'm sure everybody still does, but I'm trying my best to live my life in a way that, you know, I get 50 years down the road and I go, I'm happy with how things worked out. So come on.
That was fucking awesome right there. I want to go back to the not regrets, but kind of the adversity that you've had to hit really in your career. I mean, there's been a time, do I do music? Am I doing the right thing? Yeah. It leads to a segment that we do on the show. Can we do a segment?
We should do a segment.
Segment's called What's in the Cooler, presented by Outlaw. All right?
All right.
Now, there's a few pictures of your life in this cooler, okay?
Okay.
I just need you to pull them out and just, you know, brief couple sentences about that time in life that you were like, hell yeah, or, all right, you know, maybe hell no. Who knows?
Okay. Jeez, how deep in here are we? This is, yeah, extremely pixelated picture of me, 19. I was on The Voice. Most people don't know that, I feel like. The most fun I'd never want to have again.
Why do you say that?
Man, it just wasn't my thing. Like, I remember it was a great opportunity. I learned a lot. I'd never had like a vocal coach or anything like that, and they set you up. I got to meet Pharrell, which was probably the dopest thing of the whole experience. And he actually was super like helpful to me off camera. He was like, man, you gotta, which is funny, like fast forward, 10 plus years. Is it 10 years? Yeah. 10 plus years. A lot of the things that a lot of the advice he was given is stuff that ended up naturally like taking its course in my music. So he was like, man, you got to do some rock and roll bluesier stuff. Your voice is so good at that stuff. And then, just like this week we put out a video of a new song that is called Empty Words, and it's super just like R&B bluesy country. And every time whether it was Facebook or TikTok or Instagram, it just like 24 hours, millions of views. And so the stuff that he was saying 10 years ago, it just took me a little while to figure out what he was saying, but he was a awesome person to be around and like learned a lot. But I guess it just wasn't my thing. Like I'm not a TV type personality, and I think I'm not a look at me kind of person. Yeah. I'm more laid back and introverted, and that's definitely like made for the extrovert. And
I would agree with that.
Yeah. So it wasn't my thing, but it was a good time. I learned a lot. But yeah, most fun I'd never want to have again.
I love that. Okay, that's good. All right, there should be one more in there.
Yeah. All right. Oh gosh. This was the Paving crew, paving roads in Texas, which was not all that long ago. What do you want to know?
I mean, why? So you're doing music at the time, and then you go to the paving crew. Is that like a decision that had to be made?
Well, so we got dropped. I got dropped while I was living in Nashville, and dropped is, fired.
Yeah.
I was writing songs for a company that will remain unnamed. Yep. And I just got a phone call one day that was like, hey, we really believe in you. We think you're like, newcomer of the year material. And by the way, you're fired. We're just like, what the heck, That was the only thing keeping us in Tennessee was this job, this paycheck, right, of writing songs for other people. And so my wife and I, we just had our first little girl, which is a terrible time to lose your job. And we were like, man, we want to raise our kids around family. Like my grandparents were such a big part of my life. And that's the family ranch, right? Like I have so many life lessons and memories out there. And I was like, man, I feel like I'm going to rob my kids of that upbringing if I stay here. And now the only thing that was keeping me here is gone. So my wife and I looked at each other and we were like, we should go to Texas and just build like we keep talking about, build that everyday life that we want for our family. And we'll figure the music part out. And so, most people thought it was a terrible idea to leave Music City if you want a music career. And I can't lie, I was like, I don't know how this is going to go. But, we moved and we were like, we're going to build it on the road. We're just going to go play the Texas honky tonks and we'll, work twice as hard from Texas and let God figure out the rest. And then as soon as we got there, bought the van, got the trailer, band's ready to go, the whole world shuts down for a couple of years. And it was just COVID. The worst timing that really, I couldn't have drawn up a worse time for that to happen in my personal, journey. Because it's like, I'm not freaking spring chicken anymore. I got responsibilities. I got little kids I got to take care of, babies, and we got another one on the way at this point. And then the world shuts down. And the only thing that I'm really good at in life is not an option for me to make a living anymore. I can't go play live. So, I worked at a motorcycle shop. I worked at, I set up marquee letters at weddings. You know, and then I found this job that was the steadiest thing that I could find. And it was just like, man, I need work. And this is what's been offered. So I don't know anything about paving, but let's go figure it out. And it was a really great season looking back, because it like reframed my mindset. By the time I got back into music, I was so grateful just to be doing it that I was 100% down to sleep in a van, sleep on the floor of a RV. I mean, we would just drive through the middle of the night, you know, a lot of sleepless nights, like a lot of terrible gas station food, you know, just roughing it, but doing what you got to do to get to the next show. And I had a smile on my face the whole time, you know, and that was probably not going to happen if I moved straight from Nashville to Texas, coming off of, you know, kind of a cush job, writing songs for a paycheck, and going back to hustling. Like, I don't know, maybe I wouldn't have had the same amount of gratitude or hustle that I did, but I just remember when 2021 hit and Texas kind of opened up before everywhere else, and we played one show with Flatland Cavalry, and I remember going mentally, like, life just gave me a caution lap, like in NASCAR, right? Like, everybody had to slow down. Even Luke Combs had to slow down, right?
Yeah.
And now 2021 happens, and it's like Texas. If you're in Texas, you get to start before everybody else. And so I just remember going.
And you mean that just because, like,
you could
we're
play
a shop?
Exactly. Texas was like slowly opening places for live music. I don't think we
closed down in Florida.
Well, then maybe I would have been better off in Florida. but I felt like, you know, mentally, I just like made a vow to myself of like, from this moment on, I will not be outrun. And so we started putting out a song every 6 weeks until we had a whole record that accidentally kind of happened called 21. And then 3 months later, we were just doing things that people were like, you probably shouldn't do that. It was just going against the grain because I was like, man, well, everything in my life has not worked out the way that they said it should. So might as well do it backwards and see if something happens. And so that's what we did. We just started releasing songs and then put this record out. And it was doing pretty well for us, especially in Texas. And we were seeing our tickets jump, and we were starting to really like make some noise there. And then 3 months later, I was like, I'm ready to put out the next song, or maybe 2 months later. Yeah, I think it was 8 weeks. It's like, let's put out another song. And you know, all of my, I don't know, just people I trust are like, I don't know, you should probably let that record breathe. Like, you just put out a record. I was like, put the song out. And it was Wild as Her.
Hey, jam.
So thank you, man. So it was independent release, and it blew up. I mean, it became a gold record independently, which I don't know how many. It's like, I don't know the numbers, but it's like that's hundreds of millions, and it just kept going. And it took me from, you know, I was still working at the pavement company when we released that song. We celebrated that song going #1 in my red van we call Rooster. Like, it was rags to riches, like crazy. But
so hold on, you mean to tell me you're paving, and on the radio comes Wild as Her?
Bro,
and, like, are your boys that you're paving with like, hey, who is this?
There's a little gap. Okay, when we cut the song, I was still working there. By the time it kind of started blowing up, it wasn't on the radio yet. It was just fans streaming it like crazy.
Do you still talk to the people that you paved with, though?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's actually, there's a lot of, maybe not a lot, but there's some family there. Like, my wife's family are Italian immigrants, and that was their pavement company.
Gotcha.
So
I just look at it as like a movie scene where I'm making this up. You've got this guy named Tony who's been paving
literally
for
so many Tonys.
48 years.
Tony, Louis, Artie, all the Italian names,
And then all of a sudden, you know, you get a #1, goes gold, and then Corey's no longer showing up to work, and Tony's still there for another 20 years. Like,
that's kind of, I mean, that's the reality. But what was really cool about Tissio Paving, shout out for saving my during a really tough time. They knew from the moment I walked through that door that I wasn't going to be there long term. Like, they knew that, and they still gave me a chance because, you know, I was like, hey, while I'm here, I'll do whatever, like, any work you have. You want me to go get you a coffee? I'll go get you a coffee. Like, you want me to pave a road? I'll pave a road. You want me to try to, you know, estimate something? I'll do whatever you got for me. I will do. I'll be the hardest worker you got. And so they gave me this opportunity, but they knew that, like, what I wanted to do at my core was music. And I was honest about that. And I was like, you know, someday if the world, because it was an if at that point, if things ever get back to normal, I'm supposed to be playing music. And they were supportive of that. So it was a really cool moment the day that, when it finally rolled around, that day where I was too busy with music to be doing my job well. It was just like a moment in a movie where you don't even got to say anything. You just kind of nod and go your separate ways. It was awesome. It was such a cool moment, you know, because it was just like, see you down the road, you know, no pun intended.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, y'all, it's Pat, and I'm excited to welcome Ducks Unlimited to the Like a Farmer podcast. Your hunt starts with healthy wetlands and associated habitats. From the Alaskan wilderness to the Atlantic flyway, across America's Great Plains and down the Mississippi Delta, Ducks Unlimited has been protecting and restoring habitats for nearly 90 years. But their work is far from over. They need our help to reach the next 1 million acre milestone and ensure waterfowl for generations to come. DU volunteers and supporters have led the charge to fill the skies with waterfowl today, tomorrow, and forever. Why don't you come join the team that's making a real difference? Ducks Unlimited is powered by people like you. With your help, they can continue to raise funds that drive wetlands conservation across the whole continent. Whether you are out selling tickets, securing donations, or finding that next sponsor, they have a role for everyone. If you want to join today, visit www.ducks.org/volunteer. Ducks Unlimited, conservation for a continent. It does. It's funny how that works. I mean, you were, you know, hey, you're gone here.
Yeah.
You got to go do that. Then COVID happens. I don't think a lot of people, other than people in the music industry, understand how big of an effect that was. And then Wild as Herd comes on and it's a hit.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, the people listening now, I mean, you're in Nashville, Tennessee for a #1 party, so something must be working out.
Man, it's crazy. It's crazy that has become a normal part of life. I was just, I sent a text that said, like, to a buddy, you know, I'm going to Nashville. What for? Oh, no, another #1 party. I'm like, wait, another? Like, that's crazy. And, you know, it's not all about accolades or anything, but it is nice to have, like, a moment where you get to stop, smell the roses a little bit, because it's really easy, I'm sure, like, in anything. I mean, like, you've built this successful thing that a lot of people look forward to, and, like, it's probably more rare for you to stop and be like, man, take inventory of what has actually happened. What is this actually? I mean, you got, like, amazing brands that are vying to get on your show, and taking the time to just kind of, like, look back every now and then and be like, man, not too long ago I was paving a road, and now we're having multiple #1 parties. So had that same kind of realization playing with Morgan Wallen this summer.
Oh, man.
It was just like, man, I'm in Houston on stage singing with the biggest country artist in the world. And yeah, at the time, 4 years earlier, I wasn't even playing music for a living.
I paved the entrance coming into this building.
Exactly. And now I'm like, it just was such a surreal moment to be like, man, look what God did, dude. I mean, and that's really, like, if you really boil it down, I never changed what I was doing. I was always putting out the same caliber of music. And then, you know, God either blesses it or he doesn't. And it just, like, and that's the cool part about it too. So I'm getting on my preaching right now, but is if it's done through your hard work only, then you can only sustain it through your hard work, right? But if you just go, hey, dude, God blessed it, it takes a lot of the pressure off of having to repeat that success. It's like, I acknowledge that I work hard, but I'm not in charge of the results, you know? And so that's I threw my hands up with this last one, and it wasn't working at radio. We had already had a failed single, and I was like, you know what? I'm done trying to control this. Like, I'm going to put out the music. I'm just going to worry about the music, and then the rest will figure itself out. And maybe it won't.
Yeah.
But it's figuring itself out. So
when you think about the location you were in, and I know you're an Oklahomian. I get that. Now, Texas country, I feel like, now you've been on the road with a lot of Texas
oh, yeah.
legends. So I do consider you, Texas country in a way of,
For sure.
You've built a good following in Texas, which is really hard to do. And
Probably
once
the
you
most brutal place to build a fan base.
But once you get it,
it's
you can make a living in Texas, right?
For sure. We've seen that with, guys, Pat Green and Kevin Fowler and Randy
Maybe
Rogers.
Not even left the state. I mean, they were fine.
Yeah, I mean, kind of honestly, pretty cush. Be able to play all those shows in Texas, make a lot of money, and go sleep in your own bed.
You got Koe.
Sounding nicer every year.
Exactly.
Koe.
Rocky Mountain Low.
Come on.
Jam.
Subtle plug, shout out.
And then you have the song, this will release after the 10 days, but the
Empty
song
Words.
that you're going to, what is it?
Empty Words.
Empty Words.
Yeah.
Now, see, the success from that, you were telling me off camera, is like, hey, we put it out, didn't know what it was going to be about, and then boom, social media jumped on, and then you bumped up the release of that song.
Yeah. So it's cool to be able to really, like, the difference is back in the day, the label and your internal team is going to A&R the record, basically choose what songs are coming out, what songs you're going to cut, when they're coming out. And what's cool now is, like, essentially you can kind of let your fans A&R your record, and tell you what they want to hear. And that's what happened with this song is I'm in sweatpants, a flannel, and this cowboy hat playing at a sound check. And my video guy just happens to video. We're working out this new song.
Yeah.
Happens to video it, puts it online, and in 24 hours, it's got millions of views. And then we were like, well, shoot, we might be onto something. Let's try it on, let's post it on Instagram, see what happens. Same thing. Post it on Facebook, see what happens. Same thing. So we just, circled the team, and we're like, this is what they want next. Like, we've kind of teased a couple songs. This is the one they want, so we should just do it. And so it bumped up the timeline of that release like months and months. So it's cool. We'll put it in their hands and see what the fans do with it, because like I said, I just worry about the music, and the results, they aren't up to me. So
it's that social media tool these days. I mean, you put something out, you could be playing a song right here, right now, somebody record it, and if they like it,
yeah,
set down in the studio.
It's a different day. You know what? I don't know. Probably sound like an old man talking like
That's
this,
okay.
but I am in my head, I guess. But like when I started playing music really young, right? So I was 11 years old when I played at Kane's Ballroom in Tulsa for the first time, and it was sold out, and I was the opening band, and we were playing Western swing music, and I just like, I look back on in that moment, and then fast forward 5 years, I get to play on stage with Willie Nelson, play an old Western swing song, which is a whole nother life-changing night. But everything I knew and was learning about the music industry up to that point, it was like I was learning how to play football before NIL. And those were the rules.
Hey, you told me that.
That's how it worked, right? And so I'm like, all right, I feel pretty prepared to go play college ball and succeed. And then it's like everything changed. I mean, the whole landscape of how you put out music and like how fans are consuming music and what number ones, how those, like everything just changed. And now I would say like there are people who are more content creators than musicians who are having more musical success than the musicians. And that is just such a tough thing to wrap your mind around when you've just focused on being a musician your whole life. Like that's what I wanted to do. And now I got to learn this entirely new skill set so I can do what I was supposed to do, you know? So that's been an uphill battle for somebody like me. Like I don't like social media, and I don't even have, maybe don't tell my manager, but I don't have social media on my phone.
It's not a bad thing.
I don't. I create a lot
It's a
for
tool.
it.
We talked about it, right? I mean,
I create a lot for it, and I will get on, and I will respond to fans, and I will use it like it's a job. It's part of my job.
Correct.
And I do really like enjoy the interaction that you can have with your fans, but I don't use it as a consumer, I guess is what I'm saying.
Correct. Or obsessed with it, yeah.
And I don't live my life thinking about what content I'm going to create. And
You got 4 kids.
honestly, like, it might be to my, it's not to my benefit. I know that. But also, like, count the cost, Like, I've tried to do that, and I hated my life at that moment. I just didn't. And then I take a step away from it. Again, if it's sustained by your efforts, then you got to sustain it with your efforts. And then I step away from it, and we have some viral moments that, I'm just part of creating that song and that moment, but I'm not always the one hitting post.
Totally.
And man, it's cool. Like, I love that I can kind of take a step back and live my real life, and then use this as a way to show what's going on, but not have to be just in it all the time, because it's just, I don't know. I'm not built for it. I don't know. And maybe that makes me an old fart or something, but
Hey,
whatever.
we're all old in the heart, right? That's all that matters.
I guess.
We play a game on this show, okay?
All right.
This game's called Give 'em the Boot, presented by TECOVAS.
All right.
I got a brand new pair of TECOVAS for you, all right?
Let's go. I
Now-
need some, dude. Mine are, I wore these and got my Ziploc started leaking duck blood, so I have
I hope you like these. These are the new ones that just came out called the Iced Tea. All right?
those are beautiful, dude. Come on.
Now,
All right, now
to
something's
get
in here.
those, there's 4 questions in there,
Let's
Corey.
go.
You got to answer them now. You can give one of them the boot. Nobody gives it the boot, though. You might as well answer it.
All right, so answer a question or give it the boot.
Yep, but you only can give one the boot, and then you have to answer the rest of them, 4 of them.
So just
Yeah, they're in there. They're all fine. They're nothing bad. I would never do that to you. You know that.
all right. Let's see. What is your Mount Rushmore of Texas country musicians? That's
4 of them.
That a big question. Well, and we were just talking about these guys. When I think of college, I think of Turnpike Troubadours. That was my band. So I guess that would be one,
Yeah,
right?
100%.
Or do they
Love
take
that
up
one.
all of them?
No, that's one.
Okay.
It's a really good one, actually.
It's tough because I consider that red dirt, but I mean Texas country red dirt. We're gonna lump it all in together. Randy Rogers,
Got to.
that live at Billy Bob's record from like 2005 is just huge for me. This is maybe controversial, but this is what I still deem him like the quintessential Texas country is Willie Nelson.
Love it.
Like,
It's got to be on there.
yeah, I mean, you talk about Texas country Mount Rushmore. Last one, again, might be a little controversial because the music isn't straight up what you call Texas country, but you couldn't not have George Strait on Mount Rushmore
Thank
for
you.
Texas country
Yeah,
artists.
I agree.
I mean, lives there, never
king.
changed, the king. He got to
Yeah.
be on Mount Rushmore. So, yeah, that'd be, dang. Randy, you're in some good company, bud.
That's a good one. I like it.
Evan,
All right.
you guys made it up there with King George and Willie.
Okay, another question in there.
Oh yeah, we're doing more.
Those are really. I like the Turnpike put in there.
Yeah, well, that's more of a personal.
It's your Mount Rushmore, man.
But dude, they've been doing things like they're finally getting some national recognition that they've deserved for like 15 plus years. Excuse me. They've been selling tickets that a lot of mainstream artists wish that they could sell for a long since I was a freshman at OSU.
Yeah.
All right. Who would win in a boxing match? Parker McCollum or Koe Wetzel? Is there a ref?
No.
Oh, man, you're putting me in a tough spot. Are they drinking?
Parker is, Co's not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to decision.
Yeah,
then.
now we're
that's
back to-
going to decision. If there's a ref, I think Parker wins. I think Parker is an athlete. So is Koe. Parker, yeah, I feel like, if we're talking about like boxing, I think he could Floyd Mayweather, you know. If there's no ref,
Run around.
I would pity the man that got in a ring with Koe Wetzel. That's a big boy. Especially, you give him a few drinks, no chance.
Love that. It's a great answer.
Wow. Sorry, boys. Also, Parker is like deceivingly a large human.
Jacked.
Yeah, like you don't just like look at him and think like that's a big dude, and then you see him in person, you're like that's a big dude. Dream hunt. Man, my dream hunt has shifted. I'll tell you, my dream hunt has shifted. I want to take my wife duck hunting, and she's like been asking me to take her. Obviously, she was super pregnant this year in the fall, so didn't work out. But yeah, I would dream hunt is like some awesome, you know, flooded timber spot and somewhere we could just kind of wait out there and be in nature and watch some dogs go fetch up some birds, and then eventually it'll be, you know, taking my kiddos. But I dream hunt. I just haven't been able to make time when she wasn't pregnant. She's been pregnant a lot. So
yeah, I mean 4 and maybe 5 on the way.
No, dude, no. We're drawing the line. You heard it here first. 3 to 4 was questionable, and now we're here, and I'm like,
I
we
think
found
you could
our
have
limit.
5. How many? When we cut this clip, how many likes on this clip for you to have 5 kids?
Oh, a lot, dude. A lot. What's an unreasonable amount of likes?
I mean, I don't know.
Whatever the record is, times 2.
Okay.
For your show. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. We'll look into that.
All right. Not because I mean, man, they're a blessing. They're a blessing for sure. But you also have a limit. And I feel like I've reached the limit. My personal limit is 4. Anyway.
5.
Best behind the scenes moment on The Voice.
And remind me again, The Voice, you were with Blake.
I was Team Blake.
Yeah.
Because I was like, you know, thinking ahead. I'm like, oh, country music, that's what I want to do. Behind the scenes moment. I would probably say when Pharrell was pulling me aside and giving me that was monumental to me, because it showed like he cared and didn't care about getting credit. He just genuinely wanted to help. But there was I don't know, for me it was just like there was a lot of like professionalism that I'd never been around. And so like having a vocal coach, it's like, make sure you do your warm-ups, and everybody's like, have you been drinking your tea and eating your strict diet of things that help your voice? I'm like, no. Not like, I just felt fish out of water. I'm like, I've never done any of this stuff. Everybody's taking this so seriously, and I'm just like getting out there and kind of winging it.
Yeah, getting after.
And there's like, you know, people that are just like truly incredibly talented people they know everything about music theory and they're brilliant, and I'm just like, I don't even know what chord I'm playing right now, but it sounds good. You know what I mean? Like I don't know, probably honestly like the dumbest person on that show.
And now look. Is there
and here I
anybody
am.
from that?
You guys don't have new TECOVAS?
Is there anyone from that season that had like that you still talk to?
No, not really. Actually, no, I take that back. Drew Parker.
Okay, well, he's done pretty well.
Yeah, Drew Parker, we met in L.A. on that show. And I take that back. Yeah, Hannah Ellis, too. I met both of them out there, and I ended up, we met early on, and it wasn't really even as a result of, like, being on the show as much as it was, like, we met at an audition thing. And I didn't even, It was a weird thing the way that happened, because like some people audition and then some people kind of get like asked to go audition, and so we met at one of those things.
What moving forward now, like what are some things that get you excited? What are you looking forward to? You got the number one. You know, if the new songs have been coming out, like when it comes to tours, albums, like what are you manifesting right now? Like, dude, I'm pumped.
We're going to, first off, we're about to go to Australia with Aldean and New Zealand, which never been to New Zealand. That's going to be cool.
Talk about a legend. Guy that's just still.
And you know, he's never toured over there. So it's like 20 years overdue. People are going to lose their minds, you know, when they see Aldean in Australia or New Zealand. Complete legend. Like, man, you talk about a guy that's just been at the top of the game for
a long time.
And still at the top of the game. I mean,
probably 20 years. Maybe.
Yeah. I think, early 2000s when he really started to bust onto the scene. So learned a lot from him. Excited to go out on tour with him again. He was the first big tour we ever did. Like when he called us, I remember getting a phone call from my management saying, "Hey, Aldean wants you to go on tour." And we were still in a van. We didn't have a number one hit. It was just like he took a chance on us based on a song that was kind of blowing up. And then I guess I found out he dove backwards and listened to some of our other stuff and was like, we should ask these guys to go on tour. So to be back on the road with a guy that gave us our first chance, that I've gotten really close with over the years, that's going to be cool. I'm looking forward to that a lot. And musically, man, like I think every artist hopes to have like that record, like the one that is like when I think of Eric Church, I think of the Chief record.
Totally agree.
When I think of John Mayer, I think of the Continuum record, right? Like everybody has, like when I think of Casey Musgraves, I think of Golden Hour. Everybody has like a record that they're I would guess they're most proud of. This record that I've been working on is that, like unapologetically, whether again, I have no control over the results of what this record does.
Personally,
but this is that record.
And it'll come out.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if I can say, but it's sooner than later.
This year.
At
least get that.
This year. So I would say that's what I'm most excited about. And honestly, just being at this point in my career where I'm only worried about making the music that I like and letting the rest of it fall into place, you know, as opposed to trying to outsmart it or trying to think about what songs do people want to hear. It's like, this is just me doing what I love and rolling the dice and seeing what happens, you know. So that's a cool place to be.
I'm with you. And if something's working out,
yeah,
you've got these number ones, you got the new songs. And you hit it right on the head. It's like, hey, me personally, what I think is this could be my record that everybody's going to remember me from.
Yeah.
And I like to hear that.
Yeah, man. And, you know, I've made a few records now. Like,
for sure.
I had 2 records before I had a record deal. So this will be technically my 5th record.
The one coming out this year.
Coming out this year, 3rd on a major label. So it's not like
you're new to the game or anything.
It's not like I haven't made one of these before.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, I've never said this about a record. I've always been really proud of them, and I've thought, like, this is the right record for this moment in time. But, yeah, I mean, musically, I've never been more excited. And I honestly thought that, you know, the longer that I did this, maybe that would dwindle. You know what I mean? I mean, you just...
Totally.
It's like, how many records can you really make and keep it fresh? And I'm just finding, man, there's always new inspiration. And I look at Aldean, man. He's still putting out inspired records that he's really excited about, and that was always a head scratcher to me. I'm like, how do you keep doing that and not let it get just rinse and repeat? And now I'm starting to figure out. It's like you draw from new places, and your musical tastes kind of evolve, and so I'm stoked about that. I'm stoked about for the first time in my life, like I feel, you know, we've been hustling for so long that finally got enough going, that I can, we started to say no and value time, man. Yeah, go shoot some ducks. Go, spend some time just off the grid with my family. That's important to me. And I'm coaching my little girls in soccer in the spring, which will be hilarious because I don't know nothing about soccer.
Hey, got to do it
at all.
They don't know that.
No,
they just
don't
know that Dad's
I'm
out
just
there
gonna make
coaching.
them run.
Yeah, just run.
It's gonna be like Will Ferrell and kicking and screaming. It's just gonna be comical. But I'll be Ditka in that.
Yeah, for sure.
Let the other coach be Will.
You're a dad first, man. That's what I love about you. Seriously.
Yeah. Well, thank you, man. I mean, personal life is. I keep it a little more private, and I don't feel like I talk about it a whole lot, but. Yeah, it's the most rewarding thing. Like, again, someday they're not gonna. I like you ever see the movie Cars?
Yeah. We watched nephew and nieces. Yeah,
my son obsessed with that movie, right? And
talk about longevity.
Yeah,
I mean that movie's been around for 20 years. I feel like
it's great, man. I love it, and it gets better. Like every time I watch it, great movies, great song. Like you find something new every time. But I feel like my goal is to be as cool as Doc in that movie, where it's just like you go into my barn someday and you find all those platinum records. But it's not going to be, I'm not really the guy that like is going to be hanging them on my wall and being like, look what your dad or granddad did. It's just going to be like, hopefully you just stumble across and be like, dang. Dad was a kind of a rock
legend,
star. Like,
dude.
Whoa, that's kind of cool.
Grandpops was a legend.
Yeah, to them, I just want to be Dad.
And a couple duck mounts.
Yeah, I just want to be the terrible soccer coach.
Hey, this is why, honestly, and everybody gets one that comes on the show. One of the partners, Case Knives.
Let's go, man. We should do this again when I need some new booze.
Knives.
Come on.
But especially where you're at in life, everybody needs one of those in their pocket. Look at that shabam.
Look at that, baby.
Yeah.
Come on.
At the soccer field.
I'm honored. Thank you. If you make a bad call, watch out. Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for coming on the show. Seriously, man. It's been a good time. Like I mentioned, there's nothing like, maybe next time we do this show, we'll be in a duck blind.
That would be.
And that's where I should do all this, because there's nothing like being in a duck blind, just hanging out.
Some of the things that get said.
You might have to edit it a little more.
Maybe a few more edits, but no, that's great. I think that's a great idea, actually. I would be so down. We should do that.
Because people are just, they're open. I think, number one, what time is it? I mean, it's 5 a.m., 6 a.m., so you get pure honesty.
Yeah.
You're in the duck blind. There's a lot going on. Like, it's just, I don't know. I think, joking aside, without the cameras on, I do think you get to know somebody a lot in a duck blind.
Yes.
That's why it's my favorite type of. You know me, Corey. I can't sit still in a deer stand. Are you kidding me? I'll go crazy.
Yeah.
Duck blind, I'm there for it.
For sure. No, that would be the perfect follow up, but you still got to bring TECOVAS in a case knife, because that's dope. I appreciate it. Thank you.
TECOVA duck boots.
Yeah. Hey. You heard it here first.
Corey and I just want a little bit of percentage on it. What's fair? We'll take 10.
Yeah, I was going to say 5, but 10 sounds great.
Yeah, 10, 5 and 5. All right, perfect. Hey,
that's perfect.
Appreciate you coming on the show.
Thanks, Pat. Appreciate
and as
it,
always, appreciate y'all tuning in every single Wednesday. Why don't you go on YouTube, type in Like Farmer, check us out, see who's on the show this week, or wherever you listen to your audio podcast. Continue to like, comment, subscribe, share, do whatever you got to do to be like a farmer.